Welcome back, guys. You ever seen a game and just thought it was so awesome you just had to have it, and the wait has always been really excruciating? Then this list is one you'll want to check out. It's called Top 10 Hyped Games, and it's all about games that you've always wanted to play, but either had to wait a long time for, or you're still waiting for. Check it out.
At number 10 is Skyrim, the fifth installment in the Elder Scrolls series. The previous game in the series, Oblivion, was released in 2006, 5 years before. Skyrim received a lot of hype for its new and improved combat system, as well as an upgraded character creation menu and huge map for players to explore. At number 9 is Watch Dogs. Making its debut at E3 2013, it was one of the first games announced for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Watch Dogs has won several People's Choice Awards, and fans were disappointed when it was pushed back from being a launch title. At number 8 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Black Ops had a lot of hype because of the redefined multiplayer. People were talking about this game and how they thought it was going to be for a long time before it was released. Fans were also excited to see the return of zombie mode, with updated maps, weapons, and its own storyline separate to the main game.
They'll always need men like me.
At number 7 is Pokemon X and Y. Changing the series' traditional top-down view and making them a third-person game was a bold move from Nintendo. Fans seem to love it though, as Pokemon X and Y has become the most pre-ordered Nintendo game in Japan. It was also the first Nintendo game to be simultaneously released all around the world. At number 6 is Duke Nukem Forever. This first-person shooter was released after 12 years of development. Duke Nukem Forever didn't live up to the hype it had received. Being an extremely popular old game series, many longtime fans announced their disappointment with the clunky controls, outdated graphics, and offensive humour. At number 5 is Mass Effect 3. In this conclusion to the trilogy, players wrapped up and completed the Captain Shepard storyline. Despite its controversial ending, Mass Effect 3 has grossed over $200 million and received multiple awards from Best RPG to Game of the Year for 2012. At number 4 is Metal Gear Solid 2. Konami's action-adventure stealth game was the fourth Metal Gear Solid game directed by Hideo Kojima. Metal Gear Solid 2 was still winning awards such as the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design a year after its release. At number 3 is Fallout 4. Late last year, it seemed a lot like Fallout 4 was being hinted through an ARG called Survivor 2299.
Seems perfect. But what if it's not?
However, despite Redditors in particular losing their minds, it turned out to be a fake, meaning fans will have to make do with Fallout 3 and New Vegas while riding the hype train. At number 2 is Halo 3. The epic conclusion to the Halo trilogy, Halo 3 was the highest sold game on the Xbox 360 for 2007. Pre-orders surpassed the $4 million mark, and first-day sales exceeded over $170 million. People couldn't get enough of Master Chief, which explains why Microsoft decided to make Halo 4. And the number 1 hyped game is Half-Life 3. Also known as Half-Life Episode 3, clearly fans are hyped. There are hundreds of blogs full of speculation about what this game is going to be like, as well as artwork depicting scenes and cover art for the game. I hope Valve ends fans suffering soon, and at least announces that the game is in development.
Three, two, one.
We're here at Harvard Garden with Chad Toprak, and we're going to talk about turnover. How are you, Chad?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. So, turnover, it looks really interesting. I like that it's got, first of all, it's got a really interesting design perspective. So why don't you tell us where turnover came from?
Yeah, sure. So, turnover is a 4-player multi-gravity spin the ball frenzy kind of thing. We project it onto the ground. It's designed to be played with a bunch of people standing around it, compared to your traditional kind of game where people are just standing beside each other looking at a screen. So I was thinking about how we could use multiple directions of gravity in an interesting way in a game. And after a bunch, just like a couple of months of thinking about it, and having like an opportunity, like a game jam with people coming together, we just made it.
Cool. So, like, what exactly are the development differences? Because I noticed that it's played on a sort of top-down screen instead of one that's in front of you. What are the differences and the challenges in making that sort of game for that sort of layout?
Yeah. So having a game projected down onto the ground, to me, is a different way of playing, because we're so used to looking at a screen that's vertical as opposed to something that's horizontal down on the ground, and I feel it hasn't been explored to its full potential yet, so we just decided to try it out. And to me, it's about having people standing around the game as opposed to standing and watching from like up front. And it works well, especially when there's a crowd gathering around as well.
It does look like a really frenzied game. Do you think it's something that's going to bring people together? Is it going to be a bit like Mario Party in that it destroys friendships?
Yeah, possibly. Like, we've showcased it a couple of times now, and every time it's played, it's like people are shouting and screaming, and it's just a lot of fun.
So, like, I noticed it's got sort of a Tron vibe to it with all the neon colours and the techno music and stuff. What made you decide to go with that sort of thing instead of like something cute or pixely? Like, what made you go with that sort of art style? Was there anything in particular about it, or?
Right. So we tried to capture like the old arcade feel. Like, today, there's a lot of games that are being developed that are really similar to the arcade games that we used to have in the 70s. And now they're just like, they're multiplayer. So a lot of people can play around together. And we thought, what would do that justice? So we went with something Tron-like you said.
Cool. And I really love the music in it. That was one of the things that grabbed me the most. I know that I react really well to games that have good music. What were you looking for when you went through the process of music? Like, how did the music come about? Did someone else compose it for you? Did you guys do it yourself?
We had a sound artist in the team who did a spectacular job, and we needed something that didn't feel repetitive, something that would get people excited, and something that really captured that arcadey feel, and I think it works really well.
Cool. So you have one tip to give people who are about to play Turnover. What would it be?
Gosh, I have no idea. I've just have fun and use the level to outsmart the other players.
Thanks for chatting with us, Chad.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.